like forgetting it on here.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I forgive you, Kathy.
No, don't forgive Kathy, forgive me. Page upside down.
No, this is one.
Oh, good.
Well, this is chapter 42, verses 1 through 9. The Lord's servant, and it's Isaiah. Here is my servant. I have made him strong. He is my chosen one. I am pleased with him. I have given him my spirit, and he will bring justice to the nations. He won't shout or yell or call out in the street. He won't break off a bent reed or put out a dying flame, but he will make sure that justice is done. He won't quit or give up until he brings justice everywhere on earth, and people in foreign nations long for his teaching. I am the Lord God. I created the heavens like an open tent above. I made the earth and everything that grows on it. I am the source of life for all who live on this earth. So listen to what I say. I chose you to bring justice, and I am at your side. I selected and sent you to bring light and my promise of hope to the nations. You will be given sight to the blind. You will set prisoners free from dark dungeons. My name is the Lord. I won't let idols or humans share my glory and praise. Everything has happened just as I said it would. Now I will announce what will happen next. Amen.
Amen.
I forgot to say something I was thankful for earlier.
Oh, I want to hear this.
That's Joanne's voice.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't she read with such passion?
Yes.
You know, some people are like, yeah. You know, she just reads with so much feeling. You can tell the difference between someone who's just reading words and someone who really is going in their heart.
Yes.
And we should have it go in our heart, right? Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the prophets in general. In the Hebrew scripture, the very last books are what they call the prophets. And then we use the term the prophetic tradition. And what that really means is that these are people that saw what was going on and try to help people to make corrections before it was too late. And probably the most popular of all the prophets was a fellow by the name of Isaiah. And there's so much that we don't know. He's the one that it seems like he never ever went to jail. He never seemed to get in trouble. But he was really, really harsh on the government, on the king, the people that surrounded the king, the judges, the priests. He really had a lot to say about them. Because what he saw in his lifetime was injustice. People that had a lot were really stepping on the feet of those who had so little. The priests were taking advantage of the people who came to pray and to offer sacrifices. They would ask Well, for what you just did, that's going to cost you 8 sheep. And of course, they had to be perfect, right? To offer sacrifice. So they would take the 8 sheep, sacrifice the one, and sell off the 7 others. And this was going on. And there was just so much corruption. People were taking advantage of each other. And it seemed like nobody cared that much. And so it's like God raised up prophets and said, look, people, I want you to look at yourself. And I want you to see what's going on. And things are going to change. And if they don't, you know what's going to happen? You're going to lose all what you have. And that's exactly what happened. People around Jerusalem, in the area of Judah, lost their land. They were overrun by the Babylonians. Some of them, particularly the people that they felt were dangerous, like literate people, some of the top business people, people that had some kind of power or clout, they were all sent away and they were sent to Babylon where they could keep their eyes on them. And of course the scribes, which were priests that did the writing, oh, they were number 1 on the list. We don't want people that can read and write. They're dangerous. Sometimes people today feel that way too, don't they? That people that are literate are dangerous because they think, and thinking can get you into trouble, especially if somebody wants to have power over you. Most Christians who look at Isaiah feel that he was really pointing to Jesus. He was talking about his chosen servant. But more than anything else, he talked that this servant would bring about justice. And we still have a long way to go, don't we? But what did Jesus model for us? Think about it. The word justice really has to do with fairness and openness and treating all people with respect, with no exception. Back in the 1st century, Jesus modeled this to people. Can you imagine if you lived back then? They had their lepers, and I'm just not talking about people with diseases. I'm talking about people that were, you might say, on the margins of society. People not respected. People thought less of because of their occupation or the family they came from. Or maybe they did have some health issues. Back in the 1st century, there were people that were starving to be acknowledged, to be loved, to be accepted, to feel that they too were the children created by God. And that's what he provided for them. Jesus modeled unconditional love and forgiveness. When he was asked, you know, what's this love thing you're talking about? And he was talking about forgiving. And he said, it has been said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, like, love your enemies, pray for them. And that's what he did his entire life. He never was out there for revenge. And today, we have models of folks really teaching us that this is the way that God wants things to be. I would like to raise up right now Pope Francis. Anybody know about Pope Francis? What does he speak for? Justice. Looking to the needs of the poor. Looking to those who are marginalized. Those who are trying to find a place to be where it's safe. Not to be hostile toward them and think of them as like low life, but as God's children. Isn't that what he's modeling today? He is. I really truly believe that he's speaking for Jesus. Trying to remind us of what kind of a world we could create together. And you know, God is the inspiration. It's like the Spirit speaks to us. And it's up to us here on this planet Earth to do something about it, right? There is so much injustice in this world. And there are so many wonderful people that are actually doing something about it. One of the things I saw when I was a child was how uneven the education was in this country. If you came from a wealthy area, you had all these really fabulous teachers, and you had all these great classes, and people went on to the best universities. And if you were poor, well, I guess you were out of luck. And we have a long way to go, we really do. But I'm so proud of my school district in Baldwin Park. It's a fairly poor area. Most of our students qualified for the free lunch program. So they decided they'd save a lot of money by just giving it to everybody, because with all the paperwork you have to do, that requires a lot of hiring of people to go look through everything, and they just decided they'd just give it to everyone. And it has really made a difference. We know that no student is going hungry. But it's a matter of attitude. Before, say even 20 years ago, people felt, oh well, they're from Baldwin Park, a lot of their families don't speak English, so, you know, we'll just have them go through the school, graduate in the 12th grade, and bye. But the attitude has changed, and that's why we're seeing justice. We have more advanced placement classes than San Marino High School.
Yes.
We do. Using the demographics of the school and not what people think are good for you, the majority of students in Baldwin Park are Spanish speaking, or they come from Spanish speaking homes. The second largest group of students are from Taiwan, and they speak Mandarin Chinese. So the two languages that you could take at my high school, Sierra Vista, is Spanish and Mandarin. And the good news is that last year, when our students took the advanced placement exam, all of them got credit. They all passed it and got credit, which means that you get like 3 units of credit in a college. And so that it's like you can end up, if you take enough advanced placement classes and pass them, you can actually start out as a sophomore. That saves a lot of money. It really does. I am so pleased being here in this congregation. Look at you. You're different ages, different backgrounds. We're not the congregation that I came to back in 1994. We really are not.
For sure.
We're from all sorts. We have people that are real bookish, some people that could care less. We have people that are younger, older, from different countries. Gay, straight, who cares, right? We're all God's children.
Yep.
And that's really what we're all about. So let us truly not only celebrate, but keep it up, keep working. Isaiah pointed the way, I feel, to Jesus, saying that we're going to have a servant who will bring about justice. And it's up to us now to do that today. So may we be just with each other and model for the world a better place that God has created.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.